Welcome back to another Market Pulse. It is April 25th, 2024, Thursday, as a matter of fact. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, boys and girls. We have the Consensys suing the SEC, so another particular entity or company actually taking arms against the SEC. We have a TikTok debate. Looks like TikTok has been banned. PulseX burning has almost hit 850 billion. PulseX bought on the open market and burned, never to be seen again. And again, can PulseChain see a 340x? We're talking about all that and more today. So I hope all of y'all, as always, are having a fantastic day, boys and gals. Let me actually pull up the Bitcoin chart real quick. Thought I had that up over here, but I did not. So, and I actually have slight incorrection on the Bitcoin price. So let's just see if I can change that. 64,259. 259. I just wanted to have a little filler there for a second while we were getting it done. Cool. That should be fixed. So let's pull up the actual Bitcoin chart while we're actually talking about that Bitcoin. All right. All right. And again, as always, folks, I hope y'all are having a fantastic day, boys and girls. Bitcoin sitting at $64,219. This is on the daily chart. You can see we were on a little bit of a bullish trend, wondering, as a matter of fact, or at least I was, if we were going to close the month of April green. Again, Bitcoin has never had 8 months green in a row. So I was very curious to see if we were going to make it in April, if we were actually going to get there. And I wasn't gonna be surprised either. Dude, I got something in my eye, man. I wasn't gonna be surprised either if we end up getting a red month in April, which so far at this point in time, it does look like we are aiming to have a red month, being that there's roughly only a few more days left in this month. So if you pull this up on the monthly, Bitcoin has in fact done this before where it's actually done a 13% increase. So it's not uncommon for Bitcoin to do this. Just a matter of if and will Bitcoin end up getting there. So again, just looking at this right here for the overall chart, pretty interesting stuff. I'm very curious to see if we can actually, in fact, get that above the 71,289 or $285 that we had actually closed at for the month of April to see if we can break above. That would be pretty damn fantastic. Not gonna lie, that would be pretty darn bullish as well to get this little bit of a pullback, to get a retracement, and then to push higher into the next upper echelon, which is again breaking into the new higher highs and higher lows. Bitcoin has in fact had some struggles hitting the breaking above at this point in time, 67,000. It looks like we've reached 67 a few times now. If we actually were to draw a line out on this one in particular, you can actually see, whoops, let me see if I can actually get that line drawn real quick. Boom. Oh, I have all the charts off. There you go. I was like hiding I was actually hiding them. Boom. Let me actually get rid of that because I actually drew a couple times. So 67,000 seems to be a pretty strong resistance level where you can see we've gone and retested this a couple of times where you're back here. It bounced off. It actually looked like it was holding as support right here. It bounced above. It actually fell through. It then became resistance right here. It's going back, retesting it again right here as resistance. And it's not fully wanting to break through. Now, all resistances are meant to be broken. So it's just a matter of time and just depending upon when, not if, it will end up getting broken. So it is very likely that Bitcoin does break above and break out of this 67,000 that it's been struggling with for the meantime for the last few weeks now at this point in time, really since the beginning of April, going all the way back to pretty much mid-March as well. You can see 67 has been a pretty key metric during that time frame. So it seems to be struggling at that point. It did actually have a downward trajectory, which we are seeing. The trend is your friend until it isn't. And it actually broke above. So usually when that does happen, being that we are in this little parallel channel right now going downwards, does look like we are playing in this zone in this region. So if it does want to end up bouncing up, guess where the higher point is going to be? Roughly around 67,000 again before it ends up finding that resistance once more. So pretty interesting stuff. The Bitcoin halving has in fact already taken place, so all is good there. Looking at the impulse MACD down below for this particular indicator, it is wanting to slowly start curving this way. Again, hasn't fully gone bullish just yet because over the last month we have been in a little bit of a bearish trend at this point in time, hence the red candle for the month of April in Bitcoin. But neither here nor there. This is just part of the crypto games itself. Something I wanted to look at just briefly, real quick, was actually looking at some previous charts from maybe other times. Let me actually see if I can draw this up on a different one. So we had the Bitcoin halving happening all the way back in May of 2020. And then, whoops, from this little indicator or from this area, I was actually kind of curious, how long did we end up kind of playing in this zone for? Now, again, you've seen this already happen where you get the Bitcoin halving. There was a basically selling into the Bitcoin halving going into 2020. And it did, in fact, do a little bit of an increase, roughly about 21%. For the most part, though, stayed relatively flat for roughly about 70 days before it actually really started taking off. So, where does 70 days put us after this Bitcoin halving? If we were to just kind of go back and look at what has happened in the past, let me get a little bit closer over here and zoom on in once again. I'm sure there's a faster way I can end up doing that, but I'll figure that out one point in time later. 70 days going forward into the future. Whoops, I need to zoom out just a smidge more over here so we can actually get that full 70-day chart. And again, 70 days is going to put us roughly about June. Okay. This is where I can really start seeing the market start to take some movement. I don't know if anything will happen. Going into May, we have the Bitcoin ETFs, which have been continually accruing more and more. However, with Grayscale doing their thing, they have really done nothing but be a net seller for the Bitcoin ecosystem. So they're now sitting at 300,000 Bitcoin. And just earlier this week, it was sitting at 310,000. So again, they have been really just selling this entire period of time, while BlackRock has essentially been buying. Now, there wasn't too much buying today. So today, in fact, was a day where the ETFs actually sold more than bought. There has been roughly about $31 million in inflows roughly per day on this ETF. So pretty interesting stuff overall looking at those charts. But again, that's just looking at the Bitcoin portion right there to see what we're actually planning or what could be a potential possibility for this as well. While you see Ethereum basically following Bitcoin as it has. Bitcoin Ethereum is sitting at $3,139 right now, still on its own downward trajectory right now. It really needs to break out above this 618 retracement level before it starts pumping once again. That's one of those things that we'll have to just wait and see until the time is. Now, let me just kind of pull up something for the Ethereum chart, actually, as a matter of fact, to see maybe when some breakout periods were for Ethereum after the Bitcoin halving, because I think it actually happened a little bit faster, if I'm not mistaken. So this is again the Ethereum. This is the nope, that's not quite the halving right here. This is on the daily. What is this pulling up right? Oh, that's just a chart. Okay, cool. This is the halving back here. Yeah. Nope. May of 2020. Let me actually just draw this on over. Why Why was this drawn on the chart? That's what I'm curious. What did I have drawn on here? Did I not have the halving? Was this supposed to be the halving? Was this just marking the all-time low? I'm very curious why I even have this myself on some of my charts, but let me just kind of move this on over to the actual date of March or May of 2020 so we can kind of get a better estimation of what it was during that time period. So, looking at this as well for the Bitcoin halving from May of 2020, pulling this up again so we can kind of get a little bit better view. Let me just make sure of something real fast, y'all. Give me 1 second overall, real quick. We got Bitcoin halving happening right here. And again, I know the Bitcoin halving has already happened. I'm just curious as of the date, May 11th. Okay, cool. That's what I figured. That's what I thought. That's what I was trying to put up over here. I got May 9th. May 11th. All right, cool. Now we're talking some actual factual data. Cool. So May 9th, we actually ended up getting the Ethereum kind of going a little bit sideways as well for this time period. It did, in fact, go up to that 36%, but for the most part, kind of stayed relatively flat within the 26% range. And then again, roughly around that 70-day mark. So my estimations is again roughly by June we actually start seeing some movements. If history seems to have any sort of rhyme or reason, this is kind of where I would say we would be looking for or looking at. So looking at these actual charts right now, where it all stands, this is exactly kind of how I see it all play out. roughly about 70 days from here. So we can definitely go sideways. In fact, we can actually play all within this little flag as well. We can actually play all in here, bouncing anywhere here up until this June timeframe where we actually start, hopefully, ideally, if history was to repeat or rhyme or any sort of fashion in that scenario, really start pumping into the whole bull market situation where you start seeing everything really start kicking off at that point in time. So, right here we actually have the yeah, what's going on, guys? What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? Crypto Khalil. How you doing, my boy? Digital Farmer. Hello. 10 top. What's up? 90% cores and 10% DWB. There you go. Good E1213. Good luck, my friend. What's up, Diamond Hand Degenerate? Gang gang. Why crypto? Pump and call for Gary. Best of luck, my friend. Wishing everyone the maddest of gains this bull cycle. ATX, we still here. Pulse Nation, absolutely. Lord of the Ponzi, we are still here, boys and gals. I know things can look a little bit sad sometimes for some people, especially if you're looking at the Pulse chain prices. This is one of those opportunities that you have to continue buying at these prices, or you just hold with what you got and just wait and just let time work for you. If you feel like you've got a big bag at this point in time, you can, of course, continue to accumulate. Greed works both ways, where it works going up and it works going down. So as prices decrease, you just want more. You're like, damn, how do I get my hands on more? How do I get my hands on more? How do I get my hands on more? And unfortunately, this is what leads some people to end up doing other things, such as grifting, where they go make their own certain things to be able to try to go get more tokens, because all they care about is more tokens. They don't care how they get it. They just want more. So it can work both ways for prices pumping and prices dipping. Keep that in mind, boys and gals, because we've seen some garbage launches lately. Some of them have ended up just absolutely draining some individuals. Some of them have ended up rug pulling because they just want to say, man, if I can go get into a new token and it can do a 5x, and then I can go buy more Pulse. In fact, I can go buy 5x more Pulse. And whereas at the end of the day, all you have to do is just buy the token itself and just hold. We always want more, though. This is a creature of habit. We are creatures of emotions, and greed is definitely a thing. Currently, price of PulseChain 40709. Current price of PulseX 40294. Current price of the Ink $3.52. Hex over on a PulseChain is sitting at 20843, and Hex over on Ethereum 2018. Whereas the ratio is still 1 to 4.6. So I'm very curious to see where this ends up at the end of the bull market. I wish we could just push a little fast forward button on like a little VCR or DVR or Blu-ray, whatever the heck, media device you want to have to control the speed at which you can watch something. But I wish you could just push a little fast forward button. What was that movie called? Click? I think that was the movie. Let me see. Was it Click? Click movie. Pretty sure that's what it was called. They could basically control things going forward. Yeah. Yeah, had Adam Sandler. He just basically got to have a remote, and it was a whole life menu, and he could fast forward, and he could rewind, and he could do other stuff. Sometimes I wish we had that in our own lives as well, but that's what kind of makes you stand through the test of time as well, to get through all of these, we'll call them tough times, if you want to call it that at this point in time. But for some people, it's a psychological battle that you're going to have to find a way to figure out for yourself. So keeping that in mind, we have the current price of Pulse Chain sitting at 407092. We did draw this out saying that if it did decide to drop down, it could in fact end up getting into the levels of 406592. It hasn't quite hit that level at this point in time on the daily or weekly or even hourly at this point. So looking at these, this is just kind of where I have it drawn. Again, this is where I would see that first level of support. Should it fall below there, again, levels to be paying attention to if you wanted to have a DCA strategy. So maybe you don't go all in right now. Now, again, this isn't saying that don't do whatever. Like at the end of the day, man, be responsible, take responsibility for any actions that you decide. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But if you are going to be going in with a big bag or a big purchase, say you got $10,000 right here and you're like, man, I've been waiting to do something with my $10,000, right? Beautiful 10K right there. That is gorgeous money sitting there. And you're like, dude, I've just been waiting to buy in. Shit, you can do it with 1,000. You can do it with whatever number you want, right? You can do it with 50,000, 100,000, whatever number. It all makes sense. If you end up buying right here, just be ready for a potential pullback. That's all I will say, because if the prices do in fact dip down into these levels, while it's only 7%, should in fact dip down lower, I would see it dipping down into the 4056 range ratio, which again, 20% difference. And for some individuals, that's a heavy hit on their psyche if you aren't used to that, because most of the time when you go in with the big purchase, it seems like someone's always looking over your shoulder ready to click sell for whatever reason. At least I feel that way. So maybe it's just my own personal opinion at that point in time. But every time I've gone in with a big purchase, I always have the little regret that says, damn, I wish I would have just waited. And I don't like saying that, guys. I've said this in the past. One of my least favorite sayings is I wish I would have, I wish I could have, I wish I had. They just turn into garbage at the end of the day. Those are all the different plays. And at the end of the day, if you got yourself some tokens at this price, congratulations, because where I see the price going in the future, you won. You really don't care if you bought it here, if you bought it here, or even if you bought it here. Now, I'm not going to say you can't make a little bit more money. Say this is $1 million at this level, whereas this could be $1.2 million at this level, should you get the difference in price. But, I mean, at that point in time, guys, that's just one of those, like, small little factors. You turn some money into even more money, and so you freaking won. You did great. So be grateful for the win that you did. That's all I'll say on that one. Looks like the stochastic RSI is going back into a downward trajectory right now. We didn't fully get into the overbought situation. Would have loved to see it come up into this zone once again. If it does, in fact, tend to reach these levels when it does a correction going back down toward the opposite end before going into an overbought situation, it does tend to go into an oversold situation down here. So keep that in mind. This is what I'm just looking at on the charts, just trying to be transparent with you. But again, every single time it ended up not making it into an overbought territory, it has in fact. Oh, there's this time where it actually got a little bit above. So I guess I can't say every single time. Again, if I was to pull this up on maybe a 3-day, let's see what it looks like on a 3-day here. There you go. Looks a little bit better right here. But again, when it's coming to this overbought, when it's just kind of played in this little zone, it tends to kind of go back down. So on the 3-day, we are going into a more bullish situation. We are still in an oversold situation. Keep that in mind. Weekly, same thing. So always good stuff to see. Just different perspectives, y'all. Just different ways of looking at the same data with different ideas slash outlooks. We got the current price of PulseX. Current price of PulseX sitting at 402942. Again, where I could see this bouncing off, if it does want to go down a little bit lower, 40245. And if it does want to dip down slightly further than that, 232. So these are the levels that I'm paying attention to. If you are coming in with $10,000, as stated previously, or any amount of cash that you're wanting to buy, do it in a simple strategy of three. So break it apart into three. You have $1,000, for example, and that's your bag and that's your portfolio that you're looking to buy with, do $330 here, $300 here, do another $300 here. Go down once again, do another $300 when it reaches these levels. And I think I'll kind of get the idea of what I'm going to draw here. But just have different levels at which you are entering the market with. You don't just go all in, not financial advice. But most of the time, whenever prices go heavy because you've been waiting to buy, you finally got your paycheck, you're finally ready to deploy that capital, and then the prices dip even a little bit further than you may anticipate. Again, 17%. So that $1,000 is now only worth $800, and that psychological effect that it can have on your mental is real. So keep that in mind. Whereas if you just have it where you bought here, and you bought here, your $1,000 is only, we'll say, $90 on a 20% dip. So just or not, wow, $90, that would be a brutal dip. $900. So it ends up helping you a lot more, and you end up capturing a little bit more tokens down lower. So as the market tends to be like this is something that I am paying attention to. We are bouncing off the 382, or at least we did yesterday. You can see that 382 bounce right here, as a matter of fact. So would love to see it continue on upwards back into the 20 moving average channel, the upper lower bounds that we are using. Just a matter of will we end up getting there? And you can see we bounced off the 20 moving average channel and bounced down. So that was that bearish momentum, unfortunately, that kind of led to this descent right here pay attention to when you see big candle wicks, it tends to be that price action of which way the price is wanting to move. And if I look a little bit closer real fast, yesterday we had a bigger wick down below, or 2 days ago, bigger wick up above, pushed the price down. Yesterday, my goodness, we had a bigger wick on the bottom, wanting to push the price up. So we are wanting to continue to get out of this area, but we are playing in this zone. More capitulation for a little bit longer, boys and gals. We have the ink token sitting at $3.53. I pulled this up the other day and was just blown the freak away. Guys, imagine the ink price hitting these levels up here of $340 per ink token. This is more on the lower echelon side that I would see it reaching. Again, this is only really about 100x from today's current prices. And I can see it do a whole lot more than that. But just based on these simple fib retracement levels of what we're looking at, this is pretty damn bullish. So I did some fun math the other day and I said, damn, what if you just ended up getting yourself a nice little 1,500 bag of ink? Again, it would cost you roughly around $4,500, maybe $5,000, somewhere in that ballpark, or maybe you just end up accumulating it because of farming or whatever it is that you end up, the method is that you get your ink tokens. But assuming that it does these numbers and it reaches $340 per ink token, that's still $500,000. Pretty damn good, boys and gals. I would take that all day, every day. And if you can get yourself even more tokens, then you do you, boo boo. You do you. Again, we've pulled out the hex price recently, sitting at 208,843 right now at this point in time on the current price. And if it wants to continue playing in here, we've in fact fallen out of this bullish wedge that we were forming. We bounced down, we bounced back in it. We now bounce below it once again. Would love to see it bounce back up into this wedge that we've actually been forming over here, which would kind of out like this if it did in fact want to end up doing this play. It'd bounce back up, we'd retest this level of support, we'd possibly come up here to 1.5 cents, come back down to 1 cent again, play in this little zone before it actually decides to break out one way or the other. And again, this would just start breaking through some of its previous all-time highs at this point in time, where you end up getting back above the four. It's not quite. Let me pull that up. Not quite locked in right there. Cool. At the 4 cent level. So that would be very freaking awesome. And again, just a matter of time, guys and gals. It's just a matter of when, not if. My own personal opinion. Everyone's entitled to theirs, and I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. All right, so that's kind of what's going on with the current prices happening on everything. What else do y'all got for me in chat? Pumping, yep, absolutely. We in here, tea time. What's up? What's up, my boy? What's up, fam? How you doing, Tam Tam? So we have the Consensys network actually going through, and they are also filing a lawsuit against the SEC. So whenever I actually pulled this up over here, it was pretty damn cool. Now, this was actually shared, of course, by our good man, Richard Hart. If you actually want to pull up this particular article yourself, you're welcome to do so on here, but you can actually see where I got this information from. So you can actually come on over to Twitter, type in Richard Hart Win, make sure you're following the right account, spelled exactly as you see on screen right now. Says the SEC is being sued yet again, this time by Consensys of Ethereum fame. Wachtell law firm is on this one. Sullivan Cromwell was on the one from yesterday. Good precedent makes good law. May the courts bring justice. And again, excuse me, if you actually want to go check this out yourself, you're welcome to do so. It is actually right here. So you can actually go ahead and check it all out. And of course, I did a whole TLDR with the Chat GPT side of things too. And the easiest way of explaining this is it says Consensys Software Incorporated has filed a lawsuit against the US SEC and several of its commissioners challenging the SEC's decision to classify Ether or Ethereum as a security. This classification is a departure from the SEC's earlier stance where it had declared that ETH is not a security. Consensys argues that the SEC's reversal lacks transparency and violates the principles of fairness and due process. Given the previous assurances that ETH was not a security, this lawsuit seeks declaratory and injunctive relief prevent the SEC from regulating ETH as a security, which Consensys argues would significantly hinder the Ethereum network and its own business operations. So that's a quick little TLDR of this whole item over here. Again, if you want to go check it out yourself, you're definitely welcome to do so by coming on in here. This was another item where the SEC was in fact being sued again. This is the one that was pulled up from yesterday, where you had Crypto Freedom Alliance going through and also suing the SEC. If I can, in fact, pull up this, where maybe I'll get a quick little TLDR of this one as well. So give me 1 second. Now, TLDR this. And I freaking love Chat GPT, guys. Like, it's so incredible. Now, again, I actually use two different items. There's Merlin, which is a application that you can use on your desktop. So you can actually come on in here and actually use it directly from here. If I click sign in, I'm sure it'll show all my emails. Whether or not share that out on screen, maybe I'll just do it real quick and knock it out so I can get signed in real fast. This is a free software that anyone can use, and you can actually use it on all of your details. Continue with free. Okay, cool. And yep. Okay, I think I'm signed in. Let me just check real fast to make sure that I am in fact signed in. Okay. All right, cool. So let's see if we can do the same thing. So essentially with the Merlin side of things, another AI item that I'm always in love with AI, folks. This is one of my second favorite items, if not third favorite passions that I have, is diving into the whole fun world of AI. But I can actually come in here and actually say chat with this web page and actually just say summarize this document. So let me just see. I'm excited to meet you. Word of mouth. Wow. Summarize this document. Let's see if I see it on here. What does it say? The text on this webpage is too short to process. Okay. Well, maybe not this particular one because it's a whole court listener PDF that's on a website, but they do use the ability to actually pull up other items for websites. So good stuff. On the Chat GPT side of things, they are saying, let me just kind of pull this up once again so that way I can pull it up for myself. This is the case against Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas and Blockchain Association versus the SEC. Essentially, in this legal complaint, the Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas and Blockchain Associations are suing the SEC and its chairman, Gary Gensler. The plaintiffs argue that a new SEC rule unfairly expands the definition of dealer in ways that could harm the digital assets industry, particularly decentralized finance and blockchain technologies. This rule, they claim, could impose onerous regulations on individuals and entities that merely use innovative technologies for trading digital assets without performing traditional dealer functions. They contend that the rule was finalized without properly considering the unique aspects of the digital assets market or adequately addressing the concerns and comments from stakeholders in the industry. The complaint seeks a declaration that the rule is arbitrary, capricious, and not in accordance with the law, and requested that it be vacated and set aside. So this is going to continue to be a thing as people are finally standing up against the strong arm of the SEC, the overreach of the SEC, because continue to be a thing over and over and over. And I just can't wait until we just figure out some clarity on all this. So that way it's just stop it, right? Like the whole nonsense of them throwing out an SEC allegation and all this good stuff, or you see news articles like this where the SEC can delay the Bitcoin ETF options and deny the Ethereum ETF. Like, it shouldn't be in their position to do so. However, I mean, shit, they're here. They're doing it now at this point in time, and so SEC might delay Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. So we've already seen the spot Bitcoin ETFs, but now they're possibly deciding to trade the options for it. This delay could announce in a recent filing calls for further public input on the matter. Industry participants and observers are now invited to submit comments within a 21-day period with a 35-day rebuttal period. The SEC is specifically questioning whether these options should adhere to the same regulatory frameworks as traditional stock options. This includes considerations and on position limits and overall availability of Bitcoin in the market, which could influence these limits. Again, this is one of those things that they've just continued to go through and say time and time again. Experts suggest that the SEC's hesitation is likely tied to a need for more comprehensive data on the Ethereum market. This shit's been around for almost 9 years now. Come on, stop it, right? They need more data. Stop it. The potential rejection of the Ethereum ETFs could delay broader acceptance of Ethereum as mainstream financial asset and might provoke legal challenges similar to those previously influenced by the Bitcoin ETF approvals. This has been continuing to be a thing over and 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 over, right? It literally just keeps on happening at this point in time. I saw a crazy article where President Joe Biden is talking about implementing or creating a rule to charge people tax on basically basically just not even selling the crypto, just holding it. Let me see if I can find it. President Biden tax crypto. Let me see if I can just find it real fast. Basically, even if you haven't sold at this point in time, they're trying to find a way to get you to still pay taxes for high income individuals. And it's just one of those crazy freaking things. It's the dumbest thing ever. Increase under plans, $400,000 or less, not increase, tax credit. All right, no, not finding it right here. Yeah, I'm not finding it at this point in time. If I do a little bit more digging, I'm sure I can find it, or maybe y'all can let me know. And maybe just let me know down in the comments as well if you actually heard about this. Where basically, if you haven't even sold any crypto, you haven't even taken any sort of capital gains taxes or anything along that nature, this is the ability for them to tax your crypto if you're a high network individual. That's wild. That is absolutely wild to hear. Those sort of things drive me crazy. President Biden tax crypto unsold. See if I can find it in a different way. Faced opposition 7 hours ago. Let's see. Oh yeah, he was talking about a 44% tax. God damn, a 44. Yo, that's California right there in the States. That's crazy taxes. Biden's 44% crypto tax plan faces fierce opposition for good reasons. The administration presented a disputable idea to impose a 44% tax on cryptocurrency transactions. The policy, whose purpose is to bring more revenue to the government treasury, has instigated an explosion of criticism from different quarters, such as industry leaders, lawmakers, investors in the crypto community. The main concerns are essentially talking about the innovation, investment, and worldwide competitiveness of the US crypto industry. Whereas people worldwide are now actually going through and making new laws to be crypto friendly, the US seems to just try to do anything it can to stop crypto from existing and doing anything at this point in time. Some critics still worry that such a high tax rate might drive some crypto mining companies to crypto countries with friendly tax rules for good reasons. Many people are going to be reading and out of this as well. Misconceptions. Critics propose the tax increase have clearly explained by the tax experts to correct misleading statements. Squeeze from the crypto world said 44.6 was not a tax on gain, but a mix of two separate proposals from the government aimed at wealthy people. The tax hikes on ordinary income tax rates top 39.6%, and the increase in the net investment income or net investment income tax to 5% are the main factors for this. Squeeze will state with confidence that their plan of action excludes the income earners who averages not over $1 million. That's wild, y'all. That is absolutely wild. In addition to this, 25% marginal rate or marginal rate of 25% that is only levied on taxpayers with the excess of $100 million in net worth is indicated on page 83 of this tax ruling. That's absolutely freaking crazy. Like, you're tripping. You're absolutely tripping, my guys. This is one of those things that haven't even gone in on anything too crazy on this one, and they are just absolutely losing their freaking mind, if you ask me. Anyways, y'all can definitely check this out as well if it's something that you want to check out, but there's plenty of crazy stuff happening. Bitcoin's issuance rates sink lower than gold's after the fourth halving as well. Bitcoin's fourth halving has drawn significant attention to its comparison with gold regarding scarcity, as highlighted by Glassnode analysts. According to the analysts or Glassnode, this event marked a historic moment where Bitcoin issuance rate fell below that of gold for the first time, emphasizing a pivotal shift in the narrative surrounding the two assets. Now, we already know that the halving made it to where it went from 6.25 Bitcoin mined per block to 3.125 Bitcoin mined per block, and this translates to an issuance of approximately 450 Bitcoin per day, further underlining the event's impact on Bitcoin supply dynamic. ARK Investment has been absolutely freaking bullish on Bitcoin for quite a while at this point in time. Kathy Wood is just going crazy with it. She's been in love with it. And she's talking about the same items as well, where at this point in time, you have gold, which is a constant supply or constant inflation because it's always found, it's always mined, it's always able to be done. Whereas Bitcoin, being that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin mined at any point in time, we've already essentially reached 19 million Bitcoin now at this point in time, I believe, that have been mined. So there's only roughly about 2 million Bitcoin left to be mined before it's done. That's ending in like 2140 or something. Maybe we'll be alive. Hopefully we'll live some long lives, but that would be incredible to be around during that time period, right? I don't see why with my financial economic status and in the financial health economic system, I can't live to be, I don't know, maybe 200, 300 years old. I don't I am terrible at movie quotes, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you got that movie reference. And I know it wasn't verbatim as it was said, but let me know if you got the movie reference right there. What else do we got? What else do we got? What else do we got overall on some news? Do we have any other crazy news happening? Will Polkadot price drop to $5 amid declining value? Blockchain security firm Slow Mist uncovers a new crypto scam. There's constantly crypto scams, so they're like, "Wow, we figured out a new one." There's always new ones. With the evolution of AI, by the way, is it's going to be even crazier, guys. So please just be freaking mindful. This has been a FUD event for I don't even know how long. Mount Gox's 142,000 Bitcoin. This has been like a FUD event for forever upon ever upon ever. We'll just wait until the day actually happens where it actually happens, right? Then you'll see, could it trigger a sell off? Well, hopefully it does. I mean, shit. You're talking about someone who got Bitcoin back in 2011 or 12 and haven't had it since then. That's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good return on the money. Only 35% of Cardano holders are in profit, suggests buying opportunity. Interesting. I made my first 100x on Cardano, by the way. Only 35%. Okay, that's the same little thing. Bonk bullishness. Phantom held at resistance. Can accumulating holders break through? What else do we got? Nothing else really crazy happening right there. All right. What do we got going on in chat, boys and gals? Oh, yeah. So the TikTok got banned, or they just passed the bill to ban TikTok. TikTok ban. It looks like that actually did get banned, as a matter of fact. And, pretty interesting. Kind of stupid, to be fair, right? It's one of those situations. I think they banned it for the purpose of them saying that hackers and spies would get so much data because, they can. It's all available and outside the US and can't have anyone controlling anything at this point in time. I don't know. I just don't get it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I don't use TikTok, so I'm not really too affected by the ban at this point in time. Just kind of one of those interesting little concepts overall. Oh, I can't even read this page because I have an ad blocker turned on. It's like, no, you can't read it. Ad blocker. Psh, get out of here, ad blocker. And there's a lot of websites that are getting around that whole ad block thing too. Shit, YouTube for the longest time I used YouTube Enhanced. It was the ability to actually have YouTube Premium without paying for the YouTube Premium. And then they finally got it a little bit smarter and all that good stuff. And there's different ways around it. I'm just letting you know that there's always going to be interesting things. TikTok ban bill. Yep, clock is ticking for TikTok as the days of scrolling on the popular social media app could be numbered. They just signed into legislation that the ban and the that they just signed legislation Wednesday that will ban the app in the United States unless it's sold within a year. So I guess you got a year. Okay. It gives plenty of time for people to be done. And this is so stupid too. Like they really want someone just to be able to like go buy it in the States. And you could just be like, hey man, I live in the States. I can be your partner in crime or whatever you want to call it. So that way come on and talk to me. So that way I'll buy it for you and I'll put it in my name and it'll all be good and it'll stay within the same ownership as it already is. I don't know. Just really stupid stuff right here. They do plan to fight the law and all that good stuff, but it's just one of those silly little bans that have happened once again. Now we actually have the difference over here for PulseChain, folks, doing a 340x. Would you believe me if I said PulseChain going to do a 340x? Some might ask from all-time high, some might ask from all-time low, and it's just a matter of time, boys and gals, at this point in time. So I wanted to play up some different scenarios of seeing what that would look like overall to see if it did certain items, what that would look like. And I really do still see this being a strong possibility of 340x as well being a possibility. Now, that would be absolutely mind blowing for many individuals, keeping in mind of everything that we're talking about. But from the all time low, 340x. Sorry, the wife is playing with the pups right now, and I got distracted. So let me actually go back again real quick. So 340x overall at this point in time would just put the price of PulseChain at a penny. I definitely see that being a very likely possibility. And I will share this here on screen just so that way y'all can see. But this is again looking at the good old chart for PulseChain over on TradingView using wrapped Ethereum and PulseChain. So forget the candle wicks. Let me just kind of maybe hide those real fast so we just kind of get rid of some of the additional plays at this point. But the all-time low for PulseChain was roughly around 4033, right? Somewhere in this ballpark. And again, to see it at a 340x would put it in the ballpark of right at a penny. I definitely see this being a very strong possibility, folks, for many different reasons. One of them is a standpoint or a simple fact of the Fibonacci retracement. Whenever I actually end up pulling up some of these items over here and make sure on all the items as well. All right. So whenever I pull up the log scale on this one for the Fib retracement, just going up to the 4.236 level, which is typically where things like to do a little bit of a tippity top. So when things are going and pumping and things are moving and things are going crazy, usually you get the top right around the 4.236 retracement. Not going to say it's guaranteed to happen, but if it does happen, it would be in that zone range radius. So you can see as it stands right now, we got plenty of movement, plenty of price action. This is pulling from the all-time low. That's how people are going to measure, boys and gals, regardless of what you'd like to say, whether it's sack price or whatever, people are in fact going to say all-time low. The 1618, first of all, is essentially one of those what they call guaranteed in crypto pumps. So this is pretty much one of those rest assured as it stands right now, which is 3039. And again, current price sitting at 4071. So if I was to pull this up from a standpoint of where that looks like right now, just from where we currently are to where it could possibly be, this would end up putting a nice little 5.5x on your money. So just reaching this level, nice little 5.5x. So from here to there. Cha-ching. Beautiful. Love it. That's just the beginning, though, y'all. That's really just the beginning. Because the next part that you get to is this 2018 level. The 2618 level, pretty common to hit on a bull market. Pretty common. So whenever I'm pulling these numbers up, these aren't just coming out of nowhere. This is looking at true factual items when you look at some previous charts and all that good stuff as well. So what does this mean for where we currently are price-wise to where that would end up being if we just hit the 2618 level? And again, this is assuming you bought today, meaning you didn't buy during the all-time low, you didn't do anything right there, but you bought right here today where we currently are sitting. That would be a 25x your money. That's pretty damn good. This is again 25x. I would love that. This is still pretty damn good, guys. Like you're saying that you'd be mad that it took, I don't know, 2 years to get a 25x your money. I just don't know where else that you see a 25x that quick. Crypto's crazy, y'all. It comes with plenty of volatility. Breaking it down into the next level, 3618, this is reaching near top, by the way. Typically, if you were to be considering in crypto on pumps, on fib retracements, where I would be looking top-wise, considering just a fib retracement standpoint, usually the 3618 is where profits are taken at this point in time. So if you haven't taken profits anytime leading up to this, you'd be crazy. But neither here nor there. I'm not the one to tell you what to do with your money at the end of the day. If you want to go ahead and wait until you reach this level, then so be it, boys and gals. But that would be a beautiful where we currently are right now from a 4071 range, 122x your money. Now, this is gorgeous, y'all. 122x. This is absolutely gorgeous. 122x. Are you freaking kidding me? Go do whatever number that you have inside of your head right now, however much pulse you're holding right now. Type it in and just say, cool. If I was holding 300 million pulse, for example, on this notice right here, at the 0.00869 level, that is $2.6 million. Just holding 300 million pulse. That is beautiful. Congratulations. That's epically amazing and beautiful and gorgeous. I love it. I love it. That's why if you just hold and be patient, you're rewarded. For the people who shake out too early, they're going to be punished. You can go make 20. Dude, if you cashed out 25x your money, dude, congratulations. Let's just say you already had $100,000 invested in PulseChain right now, and it's currently sitting at 125 or $100,000 right now, and it does a 25x. That's your 2.5 million. Cool. Congrats. Right? I'm not saying that's the best move. That's not the smartest play. But hey, to everyone, going to do their own thing. And if you turned some money into 2.5 million, congrats, my guy. Congrats. That is incredible. 100,000 to 25 or 2.5 million. Congrats. Now you get the other side of things where if you're holding 100,000 right now and it did 122x, like we were talking about just previously right here, you're sitting at 12.2 million. So that's a big difference right there, right? Close to about $10 million difference between these two if you were to just do a full cash out. So that's why you never go full cash out, but you damn sure better take profit. This is a beautiful take profit range. This is another beautiful take profit range. And I have a whole spreadsheet with the Patreon peeps as well, describing different different profit taking strategies for every person and every individual. So at the end of the day, you can come up with your own strategy. I have a beautiful whole spreadsheet that breaks it all down, when to take profit, how to take profit, how much to sell, how much you still have, what it is, what it's worth. Gorgeous. Now, should it end up going up to the 4.236 level right before, this is the top signals typically, folks. So when you start reading these levels up here, again, what does that look like from where we currently are right now? That is 2.2 cents right there, my friends, my family, and my fellow cryptopreneurs. From where we currently are sitting right now at 4071, you're looking at a nice 308x. So again, this is the difference right here. 308x. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now it may just be that it tips here and then just drops. So just be ready for that, which is why if you can take profits here, gorgeous. You take profits here, gorgeous. It's all good either way on those. You don't have to perfectly time the exact top and be like, I sold the exact top. Look, man, most likely you're not going to sell the exact top. And that's okay. That is a-okay. Okay. These are just breaking down what's potentially possible. But where we currently are right here, again, these are just levels that I'm seeing at current prices, and from all-time low to where that would be a nice 340x gain. Whoops. Doing these two back to back. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? What are you doing, computer? What are you doing to me? Go back in here. Turn back on the fib based on log. Boom. All right. Back at it again. So once again, guys, this is a 340x potential gainer right in front of your face, waiting for you to go ahead and take advantage of it. And at the end of the day, I can't be the person who decides to buy it for you. You got to take that responsibility for yourself. Looking at the actual charts from where we currently are and what we're currently sitting at, and looking at everything as it currently stands, one of the benefits here is we are, in fact, now falling below the 200 moving day average. We just broke below it as of the 11th of April. So we'd love to break back above that. Okay. This white line, that 200 moving average that we had discussed. Another thing is the impulse MACD. We are on the lower side of things right now into an oversold territory. We haven't really been here, but I mean, besides the initial launch period, which in fact lasted roughly on average about 90 days. Where does that put us if we go 90 days out? I'm going to give you a guess. It's going to be around June. But if we go 90 days in here, boom, right around July. If we were to do kind of a similar play like we've done in the past. So this is where I say, if you can scoop up and accumulate at these prices, congratulations, because y'all just saw the numbers of where I'm thinking prices could end up going. And it is freaking mad bullish, boys and gals, mad bullish. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy, but I understand this is not financial advice. I just like the stock. Should I say I just like the crypto? Anyways. Yeah, because they have, they don't want to get jobs. I'll get to that question in a second. I'll just start it real fast. DJ the 504 grinder asks, why are people selling when we are so low? Some people are still in profits, my friend. Imagine, I know it's crazy. Not everyone did it, but imagine people bought down here, and a lot of people went a lot harder down here. So even though the prices may be low, right? In their mind, in their heart of hearts, from everything that they see, even if they bought at this point in time, they're still up 2x the money. For some people, dude, it's crazy to imagine. That's enough. That's enough for them to make moves. That's why you see 20% pumps get sold. Because for some people as a trader, a 20% pump is a good freaking pump. It's crazy to imagine. But you can come in here with the 20% pump, sell, and come back in, buy the dip, come back in, sell, come back in, buy the dip. So plenty of people have been doing that. It's not a game that I would recommend playing at all, because eventually there will be a day where this sucker just goes whoop and it just skyrockets, and then you cashed out all the way down here because you're like, man, I could sell here, and if the prices go lower, then I'm just gonna buy in down here. This is what happens, and eventually, while it has in fact played out that way, if you did sell up here and you got to buy in here and you sold again, you got to buy down here and you sold again, you got to buy down here. Imagine there's going to be a day where you do not get to buy this dip anymore because you think it's going to come on down, and it gets real freaking close and then just skyrockets all the way back up again. This is one of those plays that I do see happening where we do need to make another higher high, higher low situation where we can get out of the range and ratios that we are currently in right now. What's up, Crypto Wonder? How you doing, my boy? Pulse Nation represent. Mr. Big Payday, just get a billion Pulse at the lows and you'll never care about expenses, fees. When Pulse is $1, $400. Facts. Facts on facts. LOLs, easier said than done. I only have 50 million Pulse. I'm a small fish. The benefit here is you still got time. I think you have roughly about another 6 months before we actually really start pumping. Is it pushed open? Nice. I think we have roughly about another 6 months before we really start pumping. So that just gives you more time to accumulate. Make your plans accordingly. Should I say plan accordingly at that point in time? Yep. Yeah, go ahead. Do you think that we will ever see PulseChain fees between the range of $10 to $100? If we do, that just means that PulseChain is a heck of a lot more expensive, my boy. Like, if it costs 2 pennies right now, and we go up and end up doing, we'll say 1,000x, and it ends up costing $10. Well, damn, congrats, my guys. Like, get yourself a nice bag, like 10 Top said. What else we got? I'm accustomed to a 10,000x. Let's keep that streak alive. Let's do it. What up, my dude? Still hodling my 888 million Pulse. Congrats. That's my concern. Expensive transactions on Pulse chains. Yeah. Xmas tree upgrade. I don't know if you consider this an upgrade, but you know, it is an Xmas tree. Our other Xmas tree is in the living room. Maybe I'll bring that one back in here into the office. But my wife loves the bigger Xmas tree, actually, as a matter of fact. So good stuff. Oh, cool. Hexodl says I never see YouTube ads or ads in general for a decade with this now. Adblockplus.org. Adblockplus.org. Well, there you go, guys. Check that out. Take the risk accordingly. Be smart with it. Don't just install a whole bunch of shit. But it is what it is. Appreciate you sharing that, Hexodl. Never use TikTok or Instagram. Those are for plebs, lol. Jazztown. What's up, fam? How you doing? Please help. I'm falling in my English class, and it's just can't through it. Sounds great. You're doing great. Go on. I mean, just keep on practicing. Keep on talking, man. Like, that's the only way of learning a damn language. I struggle. Native English speakers struggle with English. English is very difficult. So continue. Just put your head down and, you know, maybe spend an extra 10 minutes a day where you were scrolling on your phone to practice English a little bit more. Tam says, thanks, Sam. You are too funny. Okay, thank you. Hi. Bentley. Oh, and he's gone. Yeah, you can do VPN everywhere. Yeah, everywhere all the time. I like VPN too. Always a fan of VPN. It doesn't really like affecting too crazy in all reality, but I love it. I love it still at the same time. Hexodl says, 10 Top touche, LOL. It will once they got the bank stuff figured out and add more liquidity. Facts. Great streams. Appreciate. Like and subscribe, boys and gals. Like and subscribe. The Mr. Max says, great streams. Thanks. Big Shooter. Appreciate that as well, my friend. I'm a small fish too. My personal strategy is putting my crypto to work for me. It doesn't matter the price now. It's the price number of the total tokens when you sell. Facts on facts right there, y'all. Doesn't even matter. All that matters is the quantity of tokens you have at the time that you decide to take profits. And the benefit of having more tokens now and the prices at the levels that they are at now is you don't have to sell as much at the profit levels because you can still capitalize on the initial quantity of dollar value capital without having to sell as many tokens, which allows you to hold it there going into the future as well. So instead of maybe being at 10 million Pulse, for example, and having to sell your whole bag should the price end up reaching $1 or even 10 cents, for example, which gets you to that $1 million threshold at 10 cents. instead of having to sell your whole 10 million, what if you had yourself the ability to get 50 million and then it still reaches 10 cents and now your bag is $5 million and you just need to sell a million? You can sell 20% of the portfolio, holding 80%, letting that sucker go down another 80 to 85, if not 90%. The bear markets are brutal, so keep that in mind. But if you can hold a bag going into the bear market, going into the bull market, and waiting for the tippity top, you're going to be seeing mad rewards. So keep that in mind. Ain't gonna lie, I got 99.9% of my crypto education from the Hex community. So glad that I've discovered the community back in December 2020. Facts on facts, Mr. Big Payday. Yeah, counting tokens, coins in the bear, and US dollars in the bull. Facts. Easy as peasy on that one, y'all. So that's going to wrap up the stream today, boys and gals. I hope everyone has had a fantastic time. If you are still watching this stream, do yourself and myself a favor and go ahead and click subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. There's plenty more coming every single day. I'll be on this stream. So I hope, as always, that y'all have a fantastic rest of the day, night, evening, morning, week, going into the weekend. And I will be back on tomorrow's stream. Love y'all. See you soon. Peace.
I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down.